Hey there nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of Anarchy Road. This is Season 2 of our Necromunda Ashways campaign Battle Report series, and right now before we actually get to the Battle Report, we're going to talk about our campaign data for right now. So, we are now entering week 2 of our campaign in the season of Flame right now, and this is what the overall campaign data looks like for our gang, for our campaign. So as you can see, we have 10 different gangs participating in this series, and as you can see, we have our data about wins, losses, our reputation, the trade routes, as well as road sections that the gangs control, as well as the number of kills, the number of vehicles wrecked, as well as their gang ratings. So after our very first campaign week, here is our current standings. So first place we have Section 8 of the Venators, played by my friend Warlord Ace. He's currently got 5 reputation and he's taking the lead right now. Followed by second place is Aquacola of the Water Guild Outcasts, played by my friend Smells Like Febreze. In third place is yours truly with my gang, the Chainbreakers of the Slave Ogrins, while in fourth place is Ironhead Prospectors, Thundrik's Profiteers. In fifth place are the Sisterhood of the Silent Sorrow, the House Caldor Outcasts, played by my little sister Shade, followed by sixth place with Main Force Patrol, the Bad Zone Enforcers by Sister Serial. We then have the Neon Knights of House Van Sar, played by my friend O'Death, take up the 7th position. 8th place is the Water Seekers of the Ashways Nomads, played by my friend Dark Lord Mac. In 9th place, we have the Flesh Carnivals of the Slanesh Hela Chaos Cult, played by Lady Domina. And then finally, in 10th place is the Jury of House Orlock, played by my little sister, the Kiddo. And the reason why we're going through this ranking right now is, if you want to know how we pretty much did it, what we do is we look at reputation first. So whoever has the most reputation, of course, will be the leader, followed by the win-loss record is what we look at next. And then, of course, we go by gang rating afterwards in terms of the number of road sections and trade routes they actually control. So if you look at the trade routes, actually, 2 gangs actually control trade routes right now. My friend Warlord Ace actually controls a trade route, so his gang Section 8 does that, and same thing with my gang, the Chainbreakers. Now, when we looked at the actual map for the different trade routes that we had on the original rules, we decided to change up the trade routes just a little bit because it made more sense to do it that way. By doing this, what we actually did is we actually created much more trade routes than originally were available in the campaign setting by doing so, by linking up different road sections to areas that were not covered by the campaign rules. So we made our own little unofficial trade routes as well. If you guys want to see more information about the unofficial trade routes we actually made for our campaign, put it down in the description below, because I'm actually kind of toying around with the idea of actually making a video about that and how we went about making the campaign setting for our season here for Season 2 of Anarchy Road. So that's pretty much where we're sitting at right now for our gang. So with that being said, let's get on with Battle Report number 6, which is the first game of week 2 of our campaign. So we're going to now start talking about Battle Report number 6. Battle Report number 6 is the very first Battle Report of the second week of our campaign. And this Battle Report is a broke down scenario that's fought between my 2 friends, the Kiddo, as well as Iron Major. The Kiddo will be the defender in this scenario. She is playing the Jury of House Orlock. One of her vehicles has broken down in the middle of the Ashways, and she needs all the help she can get in order to get that vehicle started. And at the same time, my friend Iron Major is also playing this game as well. He'll be playing Thundrik's Profiteers, his Ironhead Squat Prospectors gang. And as you can see, he is actually attacking in full force on this one, while my friend the Kiddo, my little sister the Kiddo, is not. So she's got her work cut out for her on this one. So just like we talked about earlier, week 1 is now over with. We talked about our campaign materials from week 1. We're now starting week number 2, and we'll see exactly how these gangs prosper in the second week. So that being said, we're going to play some background music real quick. As the music is playing, we will show you photos of both gangs as well as their rosters. If you want to see exactly what our friends are bringing for this one, go ahead and pause and take a look at your leisure. So with that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying times here.
So the scenario for this one is breakdown. In this scenario, one person is the attacker while the other one is the defender. In this case, my little sister, the kiddo, will be the defender in this one, while my friend Iron Major will be the attacker. Now, the battlefield course takes place in the Ash Waste, and for the cruise this one, the attacker gets 8 custom choices while the defender gets random D3 plus 2. The defender also gets 1 randomly chosen vehicle to be broken down, and the rest of both sides' fighters are put into the side for reinforcements. Now, for deployment on this one, the defender sets up the broken vehicle in the center of the table. Then the rest of the fighters are deployed within 6 inches of the vehicle. The attacker then deploys anywhere within 6 inches of a table edge, but at least 9 inches away from enemy models. Now, of course, you do have gang tactics on this one. You get 2 gang tactics per player, plus 1 tactic for each 100-point difference between gang ratings, but we don't use tactic guards in my gaming rules group, so we just ignore that rule. Now, for ending the battle, if a broken down vehicle is wrecked, or if it moves off the battlefield, then it ends for that round, and we'll talk about exactly how that is accomplished. Now, for the victory conditions for this one, the attacker wins if they have destroyed the broken down vehicle, or if there are no more defending fighters left on the battlefield. Otherwise, the defender wins. Now, for the broken down vehicle, at the beginning of each round, roll a d6 and add the turn number to the score. On a score of 1 through 3, it means the vehicle is still busted. On a 4 through 5, it's getting closer, so you add +1 to the next roll. On 6 through 7, the guns are operational, which means they can actually use that and getting closer. On a 8, you get a false start. The vehicle moves 2d6 inches in any direction, and on a 9 up, the vehicle is fully repaired, and the vehicle now move and shoot like normally. Now, once repaired, of course, you stop rolling on the table, and if the vehicle moves to the table edge, it manages to escape. Now, reinforcements on this one, at the start of each end phase, both gangs receive reinforcements. 1 random model arrives in the first round, 2 models in the second round, etc., and they deploy within 3 inches of any battlefield edge. Now, for the rewards on this one, the winning gang earns d6 times 10 credits. As for experience, any gang fighter that participates earns 1 point of experience, and if the broken down vehicle survives, the crew of that vehicle also earns 1 experience point. You also earn 1 point of reputation for each side if they're fighting for each other for the very first time, which is the situation here, and the victorious gang also earns d3 points of reputation for their gang as well. And that pretty much makes it the scenario rules for the breakdown. So now that we're doing scenario rules, let's talk about deployment real quick. So in the middle of the table, of course, are Butch and Sundance. They are an Iron Rider crew that's running a Outrider quad. That's also the vehicle that is currently broken down right now as well. The crew armed with stub guns and dum-dum rounds, and the Iron Rider quad has a redundant drive system as well as photo goggles and harpoon launcher. They also have the agile, dedicated gunner as well as wheeled special rules as well. Now above them on the left-hand side, that is Tango and Cash, another Iron Rider crew. They're armed with stub guns and dum-dum rounds, riding on an Outrider quad. They also have redundant drive system, photo goggles, as well as a heavy bolter. They also have the agile, dedicated gunner, as well as wheeled special rules attached to them. And just below them on the right hand side, we have the rest of the kiddos gang. In the center is Vi. She's the arms master. She's got mesh armor as well as an arc hammer, stub gun with dum-dum round. She's got the iron stare, rule of iron, as well as nerves of steel skill. And then next to her, of course, are 2 other fighters. On the top is Echo. He's a wrecker. He's got a hazard suit as well as a jump booster, armed with a chainsaw, stub gun with dum-dum rounds, as well as a demo charge. He's got the hot-headed and fast learner skill. And then down below is Tetsuo, another wrecker who's got a hazard suit, jump booster with chainsaw, armed with a dum-dum stub gun with dum-dum rounds. They also have a demo charge as well, and they also got the hot-headed and fast learner traits. And that pretty much makes up my little sister kiddos deployment on this one. Alright, so moving on to deployment for the Ironhead Squat Prospectors for my friend Iron Major and his gang, the Thundrik's Profiteers. On the bottom of his deployment zone, that is Thulian Razor Hull. He's a gearhead who wears photo goggles. He's operating a walker with a transport bed, extra armor, nitro burners, as well as mining laser and a boarding ramp. And on board that vehicle as well as Kazgan Drac Skewer. He's a drillkin. He's got mesh armor as well as a grapnel launcher. He's armed with a power axe as well as an Ironhead stub gun with dum-dum rounds. And that makes the deployment here in the bottom for my friend Iron Major. And on the top half of the deployment zone is where most of his gang is located at. On the very top, that vehicle is called Halgarak Ashdek. He's a gearhead who's got photo goggles. He's operating a walker with a transport bed, extra armor, nitro burners, as well as a mining laser and a boarding ramp. And also right beneath it is a vehicle called the Dark Star. It's operated by Halveldir, the Dark Star. He's a gearhead. He's got photo goggles. He's also driving a rock grinder with twin-linked autocannons. He's also got a rock grinder ram, a weapon stash, tire claws, nitro burners, as well as a smoke vent on that vehicle as well. And then occupying that vehicle is Bjorgen Thundrik. He's a charter master with mesh armor, Ironhead flamers, Ironhead stub gun with dum-dum rounds, as well as Iron Will. He's also got Inrik Ironhell, who's a drill master. He's got mesh armor and Ironhead bolt gun with monosight. He's also got an Ironhead stub gun with dum-dum rounds for backup weapon, as well as dependable Glykin. And we also have Galdan River Fray, another drill master who's equipped exactly the same with the exact same skill set. Then we got another fighter named Deadeye Lund, who's a drillkin armed with mesh armor and Ironhead melted gun, as well as the gang specialist. And that makes a deployment from our friend Iron Major for this one. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the battle plan for this one. So, for my friend the kiddo, my little sister the kiddo, her plan is just to try to survive as much as possible. She's going to try to get her vehicle, of course, to operate so that way she can start using it to fight with as well. Pretty much she's fighting defensively. Now, my little sister the kiddo is handicapped for two reasons. One, she does not have nearly as many fighters on the table with Vi, as well as her two wreckers, as well as her one of her outrider quads. At the same time, she's also waiting for backup to show up with her specialist Lemonhead, as well as the vehicle, the Rumbler, which is the Guild of Coin Hauler as well. But she's also finding handicap because one of her sergeants, as well as her captain, is not participating in this battle report because they're still in recovery. So she's kind of like in a little bit of a handicap on this one. Meanwhile, so her plan pretty much is to fight defensively as best she can. She plans on actually sending her guys to fight along these buildings as well here and try to take out this walker. Meanwhile, try to use this outrider to place suppressive fire directly onto these crews up here. Now, for my friend Iron Major, he's basically kind of going for the attacking in mass. Most of his forces are located up here with his Rock Grinder Goliath truck as well as one of his walkers. He plans just kind of charging up forward and assaulting through and just causing all kinds of problems for the kiddo, and at the same time try to flank with his second walker and try to do exactly the same thing as well. Their plans, of course, is to destroy this vehicle, which is actually bad for them. Now, as for my friend Iron Major, he only has one fighter who's in reserve, and just as a normal drillkin who's armed with Power Axe. So he's actually got all the cards on this one, so he's got a really good advantage on this one as well. So my little sister, the kiddo, has her work cut out for her on this one. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going directly to the top of turn number 1, and both my friend Iron Major as well as my little sister, the kiddo, will roll off our initiative to see which of them will be going first. So that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll. Alright, so we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and my friend Iron Major gets the initiative on this one. So the first thing it does, of course, is activate Bjorgen Thundrik, his leader, who does his commanding, basically activates also, what's his name? His name is Halgragak Ashdek, which is one of the gearheads actually operating this walker vehicle. And at the same time, he also activates Halvadar the Darkstar, which is basically his his Goliath Rock Crusher. So the first thing that ends up happening, of course, is that his walker under Halgarak Ashdek moves up and opens fire with its mining laser directly into Butch and Sundance. Managed to put a penetrating hit on these guys, and actually a glancing hit on these guys, which made the vehicle stall out for the most part, just because it's currently stationary and stalled. And then from there, Bjorgen Thundrik then ordered the vehicle commander, Alvadar Darkstar, to open fire with his twin-linked autocannons directly into Tango and Cash. Managed to put a penetrating hit directly onto the engine, I believe, or with the hull. Might have been the hull, and actually put a hull point on there as well. So if they take one more wound to the hull point, this vehicle will get wrecked. Now, meanwhile, not to be outdone, unless the kid then activate Butch and Sundance. While they may not be able to drive, Sundance already can open fire. Butcher can open fire with his heavy bolter, so that's exactly what ends up happening. Sundance opens up with the heavy bolter directly into the ash deck. Managed to put I believe it was a penetrating hit on the hull, managed to put a wound on directly into the vehicle as well. So it's only one hull point away from actually being wrecked as well. So mutually assured destruction is taking place on this battlefield so far. So we'll be right back, of course, with the rest of the turn 1 activations. Next activation, go back to Iron Major. Iron Major then activates Stolen Razor Hall, which is his walker vehicle over here. Does a simple action, move up forward to Moon Allowance, and a basic action, open fire with his mining laser. He fires directly into Butch and Sundance over here. Managed to get a catastrophic hit on the hull, managed to destroy the harpoon launcher that's on this thing and also eat up its very last hull point, which means that this vehicle is now completely wrecked. So because it does catch on fire, it is smoking and it is destroyed. And because of that, at exactly the same time, my friend Iron Major actually accomplished his mission, his objective, and from there won the battle on that one. So this is actually a pretty short battle. It lasted only about a turn on this one, not even a full turn actually, which is kind of insane. And of course, my little sister, the kid, doesn't want to pursue any further just because she doesn't want to lose any more materials than she already has. So that being said, we're going to go directly to the After Action report because this battle report is now officially over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Alright, now it's time for the After Action Report. This is the part of the battle report we talk about what went well, what went poorly, and what we can learn for the next time that we do battle. This is the After Action Report for Anarchy Road Season 2, Episode 6, and let's talk about the post-game for my little sister of the jury. So my little sister, the kiddo, plays a jury of House Orlock. They unfortunately lost this battle report for injuries. Butch and Sundance, which are her two Iron Riders, they both suffered out cold results, but they made full recovery with no harm, no foul there. But their Outrider quad, however, suffered a persistent rattling, so because of that, they will have to get +1 to their injury rolls for their vehicle in the future. Now, for advancements, no members of this gang did advance at this time, and from their territory, they earned 7 credits from the Ore Road. As for the Baked Expanse, they did lose that territory. They lost that road section to Thundrik's Profiteers. Now, for the trading post, they did manage to score 7 credits from their territory, which they put directly into their stash. And as for the reputation, they got +1 from their territories, as well as +1 for fighting against Thundrik's Profiteers for the very first time, which brings their grand total of 3 in total. Their new record now is at 0 wins and 2 losses, and unfortunately, my little sister kiddo, she's lost twice, and her new gang right now is at 2,400 credits. Up next is Iron Major's gang, Thundrik's Profiteers, his Ironhead Squat Prospectors, and they managed to win on this one. For injuries, not a single member of the crew was actually injured during this time, and none of his members of his gang either advanced either, so they're perfectly fine. Now, from their territories, from their road sections, they managed to score 7 credits from Beast Run, 7 credits from the Hilt, 7 credits from the Weird, and they managed to capture the Big Expanse from the Orlocks, earning 11 credits from that as well. That's because Iron Major is trying to get a trading route on lockdown for himself as well. Now, for his trading post, he managed to score 60 credits from the scenario, as well as 32 credits from his territories, and he also had 29 credits in his stash, giving a grand total of 121 credits in total. With those 121 credits, he purchased an Ironhead stub gun with dum-dum rounds for Deadeye Lund for 15 credits, and he also recruited a new digger named Garrett Allenson for 105 credits. Now, this little juvie level character's got mesh armor, twin Ironhead stub guns with dum-dum rounds, as well as a circular stone saw. And then he took his 1 remaining credit that he had left over and put directly in his stash. Now, from his reputation, he got 1 point of reputation from his territories, 1 point from fighting against the jury for the very first time, and 3 from the scenario as well, bringing his grand total to 9 reputation in total. His new record now is at 2 wins and 0 losses, and his new gang rank now is at 2,640 points. So there you guys have it. That's our very first battle of the second week of our campaign for Anarchy Road Season 2. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this week, guys. We'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.